The film takes place in the near future. The latest inventions completely control all spheres of man. The kitchen routine has also been replaced by inventions. Most people no longer think about everyday life and routine work, but there are people who continue to do this. Such a person is the main character, named Gray, who is fond of automechanics of relatively old cars. He spends a lot of time at his work. The main character fulfills another order for the restoration of a rare car on a combustion engine. At the moment when Gray completes work on the car, his wife named Asha arrives. The main character meets his beloved and they enter the house. Asha and Gray discuss their work. It turns out that Asha is the main earner in the family. She works at a high-paying job involving robotic limbs for injured military personnel. During the conversation, Gray informs that he needs to take the car to the customer and persuades Asha to go with him. Upon arrival, they get to the hill, from which the vast ocean is perfectly visible. Not far from them are two huge stones in the shape of a triangle. Asha mocks the main characters, but he leads her to an underground bunker, the entrance of which is located between two stones. Gray and his wife go down inside the bunker and meet a wealthy young man named Helen. It turns out that Helen is a very famous scientist. Asha works in the same industry as Helen. During the conversation, Helen shows her new invention, a chip that can do absolutely anything, control anything, talk to anything, and count anything. Helen calls her invention by the name of STEM. Gray immediately notices that this will become a pernicious problem of humanity because of the universal invention, which may replace a person, will displace people from their jobs. When the main character and his wife are driving back home, Asha makes a remark to Gray because Helen is his only customer, but later calms the main character and promises that everything will be fine. At this time, the car leaves the main route and goes in the opposite direction from the family home. Gray notices this and, together with Asha, they try to redirect the artificial intelligence to the original route. The program of the car gives an error and refuses to obey the orders of the hostess, and at this moment, the car begins to pick up speed. Before the car turns over, Gray manages to put his wife in the chair and fasten her seatbelts, but he does not have time to do it himself. The car flips over and Gray severely damages his head. Immediately, a dubious car arrives at the scene of the accident, from which a group of men gets out. They approach the damaged car and release the injured. It turns out that men do not intend to help the main character and his wife. Gray is being held by several men, and a thug named Fisk kills Asha. Gray becomes furious and tries to escape from the hands of his detractors, but they hurt him badly. Gray's spine was badly damaged. Because of this, he was unable to move and save his beloved. She died right in front of the main character. After some time, the main character comes to his senses and realizes that he is completely paralyzed. They don't feel anything that is below the neck. Gray is helped by his mother and a smart home, which was equipped with special devices to make it easier for the main character to live. Gray fell into a deep depression after losing his wife. His mother supported and cared for the main character in every possible way, but it did not get easier for him. After a while, Gray and his mother went to the detective in the case of the main character, named Karts. The detective tries to cheer Gray up in every possible way, but he intends to talk exclusively about the murder of his wife. Unfortunately, after an investigation, the police could not find the criminals who attacked the main character that night. After the words of Kratz, Gray falls into even greater despair and decides to end his life with the help of painkiller pills. Gray himself cannot do this, so he asks the life support device to inject the maximum dose of pills into his body. When the program sees changes in the main character's body, it immediately calls the rescue service and they save Gray. Gray is in the hospital and dreams of leaving this life to meet his beloved. At this moment, Aaron enters the room. He is concerned for the main character and offers him help. He says that the invention, which Aaron talked about when Gray and his wife were visiting him, is able to put the main character on his feet and he will be able to start life from scratch. Gray disapproves of Aaron's proposal and says he wants to leave this world. Then Aaron put pressure on Gray's feelings, and after a while, the main character agrees to an operation to implant a chip into his body. After the operation, Gray realizes that he can move his limbs again, and with a little effort, he manages to get back on his feet. The main character is delighted and asks Aaron about the STEM. Aaron explains that STEM only helps a person to control his limbs, and the owner controls him. Upon arriving home, Gray is informed by the program at home that Detective Kartes has brought a package. The main character opens the container and realizes that all the documents on the case of Asha's murder are inside. Gray is studying all the papers and videos from that night. At this moment, Gray hears a voice and does not understand who is talking to him. But after a short dialogue, the main character realizes that Stem himself is talking to him. Gray tells Stem to shut up and heads off to continue studying the video footage. Gray is afraid and suspects that he has mental abnormalities, but Stem is silent. The main character again allows